Hello folks, welcome back for another video. So today we are going to be talking about something that throws a lot of people, throws them for a loop, and how to fix it. This pool looks really good. It was installed a few years ago. You can see that the surface is awesome. Water's perfectly clear. There's good circulation and filtration. We have good return. No bubbles coming out of the return, but we do have a dancing dead frog right there. Check that out. So when I open up the skimmer, we can see a little bit of algae right in there, right in the skimmer box. And if we come under here, we can see, look at that, there's algae in there, algae in the skimmer throat. Now that's really not uncommon. A lot of pools have algae, but I'm going to show you something. I'm going to use my test strips today. These porpoise test strips are really, really good. Here we go. Take my test strip, dip it in, come up. Make sure you get that little bead of water on there. And we're going to let this sit for about maybe 10-15 seconds. We can look at this. The top one is the chlorine. We can see that the chlorine is really, really high. The pH is high. The alkalinity is a little high. But I want to show you this. Look at that. The stabilizer. It is way off. What do you think? Maybe 100, 120, maybe even 150 parts per million. So why is this important? Why is the chlorine up so high, maybe 8 to 10 parts per million, and yet we're still getting algae? It's a very good question. You see, because the chlorine, its effectiveness is dependent upon two things, the pH and the stabilizer. Those are kind of like the batteries for your chlorine. If you have two good batteries, your chlorine is going to be very effective. However, if one battery is off, let's say the pH is really, really high, chlorine's not going to be as effective as it should be. Now the same thing with your stabilizer. Stabilizer should be 30 to 50 parts per million. As that stabilizer increases, the chlorine has to increase as well in order to match your stabilizer. Your chlorine should be 7.5% of what your stabilizer is. So in effect, we can have a stabilizer level of 100, 150. However, we're going to have to run our chlorine, at 10, 12, 15 parts per million in order to compensate for that. So this is what happens with a lot of people, is that the stabilizer goes up and up and up and up. It's at 90, 100, 120, 150 parts per million, but they're trying to keep their chlorine at 2 to 4 parts per million, and it's just not working. Your pool will go cloudy and green if that happens. So the moral of the story is this. We want to keep our chemicals balanced. Chlorine, 2 to 4 parts per million. pH is 7.2 to 7.8. Alkalinity is 80 to 120 parts per million. Calcium hardness, 200 to 400 parts per million. And your stabilizer at 30 to 50 parts per million. Salt pools can have a stabilizer level up to 50 to 70 parts per million. And folks, this is one of the main problems right here. It's overuse of chlorine tabs. Most of these chlorine tabs are trichlor, which means they're going to have stabilizer and chlorine. Tabs are fine to use, but what we don't want to do is to use tabs for our sole source of chlorine. What we're doing is we're giving our pool basically an IV drip of stabilizer. And the only thing we can do at this point right now is a half drain and refill, maybe even a 3/4 drain and refill. Drain 3/4 of the water, we fill it back up again, and then let the water circulate for a few hours, and then retest and make another adjustment if needed. All right, folks, my job is done here. I'm finished with my inspection and off to the next one. If you have any questions, please leave it in the comments section below. I always love to hear from you. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.